Hello again. It's another horrible rainy spring day here in the UK, so perfect weather to stay indoors all day and make another video. In today's video, I'll be going over the differences between Philodendron Sodiroi aff and true Philodendron Sodiroi. And the reason I decided to do this one is because I've seen absolutely loads of these plants mis-ID'd in the plant community. There's loads of people out there that think they've got true Sodorois when they haven't, they've got affs. I very recently nearly bought a Sodiroi aff thinking it was a true one, and I kind of only really realised at the last minute that it wasn't, thanks to some very helpful advice from a friend. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole a bit and found out kind of the best ways to tell the two plants apart. And yeah, I thought I'd put together a video and hopefully help others do the same. On my screen now is a picture of a Sodiroi aff. This was sent to me by my friend Mela, who is Mela's Jungle on Instagram. I'll link to her page in the description below. And this is a plant that she actually bought as a true Sodiroi without realising that it was actually an aff. But thankfully, kind of when you delve into it, there are a lot of key differences between the two plants. So the first one that we'll look at is Sodiroi aff have a very prominent pink blushed sinus. And the sinus is the bit here at the top of the midrib. You can see that that is a really quite defined, like rosy pink colour. Just going to change the brush size slightly. This section here really stands out, particularly in this picture that was taken with flash. There's another photograph here. I think this is also from Mela. No flash in this picture, but you can still kind of see the pink colour. So that is kind of thing number one to look out for. Number two is the leaf shape. So the Sodiroi aff has lobes that are quite close together, and in some plants that I've seen, some pictures I've seen on Instagram, the lobes are actually overlapping, so they're kind of overlapping like that. That isn't something that you'd tend to see, or it isn't something that you would see on a true Philo Sodiroi. The leaves are actually kind of like heart-shaped on the aff, so if you look here, it's kind of like your typical heart-shaped philodendron. And number three, the third thing to look out for on these plants is the petioles. And this isn't really the greatest picture for it. This picture is marginally better, so we'll work on this one. So you can see the petioles here are a green colour, and they're kind of like quite a light green colour, but they're also smooth. And this is completely in contrast to the petioles that you'll see on a true Philodendron Sodiroi that I'll show you in a minute. So, to recap, you've got the sinus, you've got the lobes, you've got the petiole. Another thing that you won't always be able to tell until the plant's a bit older is that the Philodendron Sodiroi affs are generally creepers, so they'll creep along the top of a pot, or along the top of the potting medium, like kind of like a Philodendron gloriosum would. They're not climbers, and it can be pretty difficult to tell that when you've only just got the plant. But after a while, you'll start to notice that even if you provide the plant with some support, it won't really put out noticeably bigger leaves, and that's a fairly good sign that you've got a creeper, as well as the kind of what's known as a stolon, which is the growth tip that crawls across the top of the potting substrate. Actually lucky enough to have one in my collection. I very recently managed to purchase this from someone on Facebook, and it's an absolutely beautiful plant. So it's enabled me to get some quite handy photos for this video. But rather than looking at the plant, we'll look at the photograph on the screen because we can zoom in a bit easier. So the first thing you'll notice is that there is no pink coloured sinus at all. It's a light green colour, and it's the same colour as the rest of the midrib. So that's the difference. That's the first difference. Difference number one. Secondly, which is really quite striking, is the leaf shape. It has very wide lobes, the true Philodendron Sodiroi. To me, it's reminiscent of the kind of leaf shape of an Anthurium regale. It's not very, very different when you put them side by side. It's much wider. It's got a very defined like dip in the centre here. So that's another really obvious thing. Furthermore, it's not a very good photo, so we will move to a photo of the abaxial of the leaf. Is that the petiole is a red colour, and it's actually quite rough and warty. It's quite hard to see in the picture, but when you look at them in person, it feels very rough, especially towards the top, near where the petiole joins the leaf blade. So that's completely different to the smooth green petiole that you have on the Sodiroi aff. The final key difference between the Philodendron Sodiroi aff and the true Philodendron Sodiroi is that the true plants are climbers, and you can see in this picture, which is provided by Lobes, which is a garden centre in America. True Philodendron Sodiroi will put out much bigger leaves if you give them a pole to climb on, and obviously the affs are creepers. So again, it can be very hard to tell this when you've got a young, immature plant. But when they're a bit older, if you notice the growth habit of your plant is starting to take a more of a climbing habit, where it's kind of the stem is going vertically upwards, and if you've given it some support and it's getting bigger leaves, then you can be fairly certain that you've got a true Philo Sodiroi if kind of the other characteristics are the same as we've gone through in this video. I mean, the plant that I've got here is fairly mature, actually. I did really well to get a cutting, and I'm very grateful to the person who sold it to me. Pushing out a new leaf here, it's no longer using the sulcate canal, so it's actually putting out leaves from cataphyls, and it's quite obviously a climber. Like, you've just got to look at the way that the kind of cutting's growing and way that the plant's growing to tell that it's a climber rather than a kind of a crawler like a gloriosum. So to recap, you've got the four main differences. You've got the sinus, you've got the lobes, you've got the petiole, and you've also got the growth habit. It can be really easy to get these two plants mixed up, especially when you're buying a young one. But when you put them side by side, you know, they do look very different, strikingly different, in fact. So yeah, I hope this video has helped. And if you've got any questions or any corrections that you'd like to make, please just leave a comment in the comment section below. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you.